Hello everyone, how are you today? I hope you are doing well. So let me introduce myself. I am Jessy Yuniton, and today me and my group partner will explain to you about the TPCASTT of My Papa Waltz poetry by Theodore Roethke. The first T of TPCASTT is title. The first title in here is to predict the real meaning of the poem. In here, we can see in the poem possibly a connection between the speaker's father. The word waltz brings up concept of grace, rhythm, and dance. It could also refer to a happy or peaceful time between the speaker and their father.
My Papa's Waltz by Theodore Roethke. The whiskey on your breath could make a small boy dizzy, but I hung on like that. Such waltzing was not easy. We romped until the pan slid from the kitchen stove. My mother's countenance could not unfrown itself. The hand that held my wrist was battered on one knuckle. At every step you missed, my right ear scraped a buckle. You beat time on my head, with a palm caked hard by dirt, then waltzed me off to bed, still clinging to your shirt. Here I will present our interpretation to paraphrase the poem My Papa's Waltz by Theodore Roethke. I will read each of the two lines and then the paraphrased sentence. The whiskey on your breath could make a small boy dizzy. Could be paraphrased into the smell of the alcohol on your breath can make me dizzy. But I hung on like that. Such waltzing was not easy. But I still hung on to you even though it's not easy. We romped until the pan slid from the kitchen shelf. We danced around the kitchen until the pans fall off. My mother's countenance could not unfrown itself. My mother seems to disapprove of the whole thing. The hand that held my wrist was battered on one knuckle. Your hand on my wrist is bruised on one knuckle. At every step you missed, my right ear scraped a buckle. Every time you stumble, your belt buckle scrapes my right ear. You beat time on my head with a palm caked hard by dirt. You pat my head with your hand to keep the rhythm of our dance. Then waltz me off to bed, still clinging to your shirt. And then take me to bed as I still cling to your shirt.
Hello, my name is Intan Mariska Andriani Putri with student number 300. The next analysis is about connotation. Based on our discussion, the connotation of My Papa's Waltz poem consists of form, imagery, figurative language, symbolism, diction, point of view, and allusion. I will explain it one by one. For the first, I will explain the form. Form consists of rhyme, rhythm, and alliteration. In this poem, the rhyme is different in each stanza. In the first stanza, the rhyme is ABAB. In the second stanza, the rhyme is CDCD. In the third stanza, the rhyme is EFEF. And in the last stanza, the rhyme is GHGH. Okay, the next is the rhythm. The whiskey on your breath is iambic 3 meter. Could make a small boy dizzy is iambic 3 meter, and there is an additional syllables Z. But I hung on like that is anapestic D meter. Such waltzing was not easy. Such waltz is iambic. Ing was not is anapestic. Easy is iambic. and the meter is 3 meter. We round until the pants is iambic 3 meter. Slit from the kitchen shelf. Slit from is trochaic. The kitchen is iambic. Kitchen shelf is iambic. And the meter is 3 meter. My mother countenance is iambic 3 meter. Could not unfrown itself is iambic 3 meter. The hands that held my wrist is iambic 3 meter. Was feathered on one knuckle is iambic plus anapestic 3 meter. At every step you missed is iambic 3 meter. My right ear scraped a buckle is iambic 3 meter, and there is an additional syllable skull. You beat time on my head is anapestic D meter, with a palm caked hard by dirt. With a palm is anapestic, caked hard is iambic, by dirt is iambic, and the meter is 3 meter. Then waltz me off to bed is iambic 3 meter. Still clinging to your shirt is iambic plus anapestic D meter, and there is also an additional word shirt. And the last is alliteration. In the line 4, the words waltzing and was is a repetition of was sound. Next, in the line 6, the word slit and shelf is a repetition of initial letter S. Now we move to the line 9. The hand that held. The word the and that is a repetition of the sound, while the words hand and held is a repetition of her sound. Next, in line 10, the words on one is a repetition of initial letter O. Next is in line 15, the words then and to is a repetition of the sound, and in the last line, the word slit and shirt is a repetition of initial letter S. The next connotation is imagery. We get several imagery. Number 1, whiskey. It is a gustatory or olfactory. Number 2 is kitchen. It is a visual. Number 3, buckle. It is a visual. And number 4, shirt. It is also a visual. And the next is figurative language. There are 2 figurative language. Number 1, I hung on like that. It is a simile. And number 2 is a metaphor. Waltz, the use of dancing to represent speaker's relationship with his father. And the next is symbolism. Number 1, waltz. Waltz symbolizes the relationship between father and son. And number 2, beat. It can imply violence or abuse.
The diction used in this poem, first one is round, which means play roughly. Second one is clinging, meaning holding tightly, and last one is unfrowned, which defined as an expression of pain or unhappy. The point of view used in this poem is a first-person point of view. The speaker nostalgic about the event he went through as a child. And then there's allusion, an indirect reference to a person, place, event, or literary work. The poem revolves around the waltz, referencing to a popular style of ballroom dance.
Hello, my name is Azam and I will explain the analysis of the poem in the attitude and shift of My Papa's Waltz by Theodore Roethke. So the first I will explain the attitude of this poem. The tone of this poem is complex as it is both a good and bad experience. The attitude of the speaker can be described as sad, aggressive, but also joyful and contradictory. The author seems to want to include some memories of dancing with his father in the kitchen while at the same time his father is drunk and abusive to his son. And also, the author uses past tense verbs to describe the son's memories. So the poem begins with the speaker describing a memory from his childhood. The speaker's father comes home drunk, and the smell of whiskey on his breath is so strong that it makes the speaker, who is still a child, feels like he is in trouble. Okay, next is shift. I found a tone shift in this. So in the first two third stanzas, the tone is harsh, showing the father tension with his son in a drunken state, which result in his treatment of the son. However, as the poem progresses, in the last stanza, there is a shift in tone with the use of more calmer and more pleasant language, as in the last line, still clinging to your shirt. In the line, it means that the boy does not want to sleep and want to dance again with his father. Despite the treatment of the child, the boy still loves his father.
Now, let's talk about the revised title. After we analyze the poem, we recognize that My Papa's Waltz is an ambitious poem. The term waltz not only symbolizes dance, but also the complex relationship between father and son. The speaker suggests the possibility of violence or discomfort between the two of them. Although this is not explicitly explained, some moment in the poem may refer to it, like the moment when his father is drunk and he smells it and feels dizzy. The speaker is unsettled or even scared of him. The speaker also describes how his father knocks the pans from the kitchen shelf. Even if they are just dancing, this means that things have gotten pretty rough and out of control. Despite his father's harsh behavior, the speaker still somehow searches for connection even though it's not easy. He describes hanging onto him like death, and he's still clinging while his father takes him to his bed.
Okay, the last T is theme. After we analyze the whole poetry like attitude, sieve, and tone, the poem tells us about a complex relationship between a father and a son, with the father treating the son harshly and while the son continuously seeks security and connection from his father.